in. Another episode of the Captain of Madden show here. August 21st. Friday, August 21st. In the year 2026. Madden on my side, the captain. Over on the other side, captain. We took a week off. We had a sabbatical week.
Yes.
Are you raring to go this week?
All refreshed, ready to go.
You're re-dyed, rested, and ready, as somebody was once, as a puppet was once called.
Batteries are charged. Raring to go.
Okay. All right. I like this. I like a post-vacation captain is a good captain. And you were on the West Coast, weren't you?
I did. I went to sunny California for the first time.
First time ever in California.
Time ever.
I was the first time in California, Northern California earlier this year. You were in Southern California.
I was in Southern, yeah. San Diego.
5 stars.
I'll give it 4.5. Okay. Weather is perfect. The people there are nice.
Yeah.
The section of San Diego that we were in was very nice. Loses half star because, oh my God, is it expensive?
Well, yeah, that's the misery of going on vacation is when you do get back and it's like, I had so much money. Now I don't.
I will gladly pay you Tuesday because I spent all my money in California.
But
but no, it's you always hear about the weather, the great weather that San Diego has, and totally lived up to it.
Good.
Was never really that hot, was never really that cold. I think we had one day, oddly enough, was the day we went to the beach where it was a little cloudy in the morning.
Okay. All right.
Other than that, sunshine. And
well,
might as well just play Beach Boys music the whole time because that's how you felt. You just felt like you're in never-ending summer.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Checked
out Petco Park, the home of the San Diego Padres.
Fun.
Beautiful ballpark. A lot of cool little things, cool little areas to go to. They announced that night that was their 50th sellout of the year.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, they're
the San Diegans going out supporting their Padres team, even though some would say they've had kind of a disappointing year.
Little downturn, yeah.
But they've been pretty hot after the All-Star break.
Yeah, Tatis finally woke up a little bit, right?
Yeah, a lot of the other kid, their center fielder Jackson. Is his last name Merritt? Their center fielder guy.
Yes.
I can't think of his first name's Jackson.
Yes, I think it's Jackson Merritt.
He hit a home run that night to kind of put them up, and they said something like it's his 9th home run since the All-Star break. So,
that's wild. Yeah.
He seems to be. Yeah. He seems to be en fuego, as the Southern Californians would say.
Awesome.
Just went to the zoo and visited some beaches, and it was very very nice. It was nice to go out as a family, and like I said, perfect weather, perfect everything except we complain about gas prices in Jersey, dude. Gas is $6.03 a gallon.
Yeah, it's well, also again, you're in a tourist area, so they're gonna gouge you.
Yeah, no matter where you went in San Diego, I think the cheapest we saw was like one gas station had it at like $5.99 a gallon.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Grin and bear it. So, we're part 1 of 2 in the coming weeks of episodes. We're going to be doing NFL previews, which include the research that I've done. I actually predicted the winner of every single football game this season, as I normally do. Through the data, we're going to tell you where these teams rank, who's making the playoffs, give you a glimpse into the fantasy football players to watch, Some interesting tidbits in those territories as well. Maybe we'll pick an MVP for the conferences. So we're gonna do the NFC this week, and we're gonna do the AFC next week. So if you're ready, Captain, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's August. It's training camps are open. There's already injuries. It's already feels like football season.
So let's mark our territory. Let's tear into these data sheets and these notes, and
Yes.
give you, the loyal listener, an idea of how the NFL season is going to go.
Yes, let's do it quickly before there's another preseason game and somebody else gets hurt.
Yeah, I wish I had if I could, I would have the background music would be just the NFL Films soundtrack.
Womp,
So imagine that's going on in the background as we walk you through the division. So we're gonna start in the NFC East, and let's begin. Let's get the one out of the way first. The New York Football Giants. Tell me what you think Giants fans should expect.
I wrote notes about the New York baseball Giants. I didn't know where.
Okay.
My quick assessment would be with Harbaugh coming in. Obviously, the past decade has been just a lump of shit when it comes to coaches. Giants, everyone they've brought in hasn't worked. They finally went out and got somebody with a proven track record. Mm. I think you'll see improvement in New York. Not to give away, but I think they fall short of the playoffs, but they'll be competitive. It's going to take, Harbaugh, he's got to implement his system. He's got to figure out who's going to be his guy and who's not going to be his guy. Every coach, has those, like Parcells was always known to I'm going to, wherever he went, he brought Pepper Johnson, or he brought one of his guys. It's going to take him a while to kind of figure out who those people are and whether or not they're going to be playing his style of football.
Sure.
Obviously, the biggest concern I think with Giants fans is can Jackson Dart stay healthy? Can he stay out of the big blue tent? Mm-hmm. And I mean they've had they had 2 top 10 picks. We'll see how they turn out. OBJ is back in the building. And obviously the health of some of the guys that were outlet, totally losing the running back that runs through brick walls.
Cam Scatterbo. Yeah.
Yeah, he broke his ankle, so you got to see how he's going to do. Yeah. The other wide receiver is coming off a knee surgery.
Malik Neighbors. Yeah.
Malik Neighbors. So there was a kind of weird report, he was coming back and then he had a second surgery, and then there was this whole thing of well, is he going to be ready for week 1? And now he seems to be doing well in training camp. So yes. If he's playing week 1, that will definitely improve their chances. But I could see them winning 7 or 8 games. It'll be an improvement. And I think Giant fans, they should be hyped up for the year. They got a potential franchise quarterback. They got a guy that knows who's won a Super Bowl, who can run the show.
So I think they're going to contend for the division lead, and they're going to get the division lead. I am of the belief that they have done the right things to improve their defense, which was very shaky last year. I think there's going to be more harmony under Harbaugh. Dart, I expressed the same concern. Be able to stay on the field. If he can stay on the field, then he's kind of a warrior type. So I think he's got good instincts, and he's got good chances to be take a big leap in his second season. So I have them at 10-7.
Wow.
And winning the division. Fantasy player to watch. So Malik Neighbors, certainly, depending on how ready he is to start the season, is going to be kind of a difference maker because he's got the ability to go downfield. He's got the ability to take a slot catch and go to the house. They had a little bit of a breakout with Theo Johnson at tight end last year, and I think Theo Johnson's going to take a big step forward. Giants love their tight ends, and I think they're going to utilize him pretty well. And I think he's going to see some goal. I think he's going to see some end zone. I think he's going to see some goal line, kind of play action, pop out, catch pass. So he certainly is going to be a fun guy to see take another step. So yeah, I have the Giants winning the division at 10-7.
Malachi Fields, I think, is the guy to watch.
Malachi Fields. Okay.
Malachi.
Okay. Yeah.
Big, tall dude. I think he's going to be. They're going to be working in that red zone a lot. So I would see him as a if you haven't drafted for your fantasy league yet.
Yeah.
He would be somebody in the later rounds I'd be looking to snatch up.
So let's move to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll start off with this one. I also have them at 10-7 and a wild card team. You never can count the Eagles out. They pretty much figure out a way to be relevant year after year after year. The only issue, though, and the only reason why I see them as not winning that division, yes, they have an elite defense. They're great. They're starting to age a bit, and you're starting to see the guys that were, at least 16 weeks out on the field. They could be 14-week guys. I think there's question marks about Jalen Hurts. All of the offseason moves they made. Is Devontae Adams actually going to get the ball and be happy? Excellent question. They got rid of that other wide receiver, shipped him to New England. A.J. Brown. My fantasy guy to watch is actually Saquon's backup, Tank Bigsby. I could see him having, if Barkley misses, I could see him having some really outstanding weeks. And I do predict that we will see some injury time for Saquon this year. Just something in my gut tells me he's not gonna play all 17 weeks. So, with that being said, handcuff. If you're drafting Saquon, handcuff him with Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is a great waiver wire pickup. If you don't get him if he doesn't get drafted, he's a great waiver wire pickup and stash on your bench because you're going to need him at some point this year. Mark my words. Captain, take it away. What do you think for the Eagles?
There's definitely questions about them. They have a new offensive coordinator, Sean Marion, who was the quarterback's coach in Green Bay. So obviously, anytime you bring in a new coordinator, whether it's offense or defense, there's always going to be that learning curve.
Yep.
How long does it take them to adapt to it? I think the subtraction of A.J. Brown is going to be an addition. You're not going to have that. I think he definitely held back disrupted the locker room last year, made people. I don't know why people still continue to doubt Jalen Hurts. I mean, all this guy does is win. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He won one.
Right.
And he has a pouty wide receiver last year, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good." I don't think it's like stop trying to be the person that has the hot take.
I just had a kind of hot take that I think he's showing a little bit of wear, but
I would think the biggest concern with the Eagles is the wear and tear and age on that offensive line. And if they're still going to continue to do the stupid push-tush every time it's 4th and inches or first and goal and all that other stuff, you kind of have to wonder, that's where you're worrying about Jalen Hurts is the offensive line getting that push off and making it so that he's not, if you're going to run that play 60 times a year, he can't be getting his ass kicked 60 times a year. That's the whole thing of you want to try to avoid your quarterback taking any punishment. A quarterback's going to get hit. We know that, but you try to do everything you can to avoid it. So I guess that would be like my biggest thing, is that the injuries, and then it's another year older.
Right.
But I think the one thing that the Eagles have that I don't think anybody else in the division has, their GM is excellent. So if there's something that they're missing, if he, he's shown that he's willing to make big trades and move, and he's smart enough that he'll do it. He'll get the right person without giving up anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, without selling the cupboard, so to speak.
Yeah, without like, oh, I got to give up a defensive guy because like we need somebody on offense, or vice versa, and then one of the other units, is suffering because of the trade. Like, he's smart enough to bring in something that's going to help them out. And I mean, not only is he one of the best general managers in football, I mean, he's clearly the best GM, I think, in the division. So,
Okay. Right.
I think this will be a big bounce back year for the Eagles.
Okay.
And it's weird to say like that last year was such a down year. It's like, well, they still like won the division and they still went to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
It just kind of felt like that.
It was
that
flat.
whole year they never played up to their potential as good as
Yeah.
they should have been.
Yeah, they coasted based on a really disappointing Commanders season. The Giants weren't ready. They were making their adjustments, but
they still split with the Giants. I mean, as bad as
true.
like
Well,
they lost a game to the Giants.
That's what's funny. Like, this is the division where even the worst team in the division will sneak a win off of the best team in the division during a regular season. Like, it's just they're just so competitive that way.
When the NFC East plays each other, you could just take the records and throw them out the window.
Throw them out the window. Thank you. It's a very John Madden statement. So you have them winning the division.
I think the Eagles will win the division. Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have a record for the Eagles?
No, I didn't do records. I just
okay.
I
You just
kind of
ranked
went
them.
like where they're going to finish.
Okay. All right. Next team up, the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Give me your little preview for the Dallas Cowboys.
They made a lot of moves on defense in the offseason.
Well, they had to.
Rashawn Gary from they got in a trade. They brought in some help in the second. Kobe Durant they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted that kid Caleb Downs,
right?
Who everyone is. It's weird. Everyone who does like all these draft experts all said Caleb Downs is clearly like the best player. Put him in week 1, and the guy lasts until the 10th pick. Like I still don't understand this whole like if he's the best player, then just take him. Like, oh well, you can't pay a safety. Blah, blah.
He's
like,
not a need.
Well,
right.
It's like, well, he's gonna be. Everyone says like, oh, safety's not a need until you have bad safety play, and then it's like,
right.
Oh, then you have to go out and find a safety.
Mm-hmm.
They did a lot of work on that defense. I can see it paying off. I can see them being a much improved unit. I still kind of have my doubts about Dak Prescott. I think he's a good quarterback. But he's, it's one of those things like the next big game or the next playoff game that he wins will be his first.
Yeah.
And he's been a starter for like a decade now, and he still hasn't really put it together. So I don't get on anybody who like has question marks about Dak Prescott. Whereas when someone's like, oh, I still have my reservations about Jalen Hurts, like, how much more does this guy got to do?
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I can see them being like where they drastically improve so much on the one side of the ball that, I could see them going into games where maybe they're not putting it all together offensively. I think they finished second in the division. I think they're the wild card team out of this.
All right.
But yeah, plus I thought I read somewhere that former Jet Quinnen Williams, they like redid his or they gave him an extension.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, based off of what, like 8 games that he played?
Half a season.
He was already getting a lot of money, so
Yeah.
I don't, but we'll see. I mean, again, anytime you bring in new people, like how long does it take for everybody to gel? Obviously preseason's kind of a joke. Nobody really, they don't really hit the pads and stuff like it used to. So of course, like the first couple of weeks of the regular season is always like, if there's ever going to be upsets, it's probably going to be in the first 4 weeks because
durability is an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you have them as a second place finish with a wild card berth. I have them. They have a tough schedule. I just want to say that off the bat. And I actually have them coming in 7-10. Outside looking in, to your point that you said that they made all of these vast improvements in the offseason, I am one of the people who says I don't see it meshing until either midway or late in the season and potentially into next year with a couple more tweaks. I just think they're not fully cooked yet. With that being said, could they pull off surprise? Could Dak Prescott actually, kind of overachieve this year? He's got weapons, and I'll talk about one of those weapons in a second. But when you have George Pickens, the most 1950s name in the NFL, and CeeDee Lamb, if he can stay on the field, that's a pair of that's an interesting set of wide receivers. Now, I'm predicting that they will have some sort of one of them's not going to get the ball enough and is going to spout about it. And then Jerry Jones is going to get himself involved, and he's going to say, we're working with the guys, and we're going to, we all glory hole together or whatever. He'll say something ridiculous to the press about it. And I think there's going to be a little bit of I think there's seeds of turmoil that are being spread, because I do think a lot of people are starting to like the way the Cowboys offseason went, and they like the way that the arrow is pointing at this point. And I think it's a little too early to put your hand on them and say you've been anointed. My fantasy guy on that team, tight end Jake Ferguson, he's going to be great for anybody that drafts him, and he should be probably a top 5 tight end, but probably only for half a season, because at some point either he will get hurt or he'll see the productivity dip because the 2 wide receivers are going to be mad because they're not getting the ball enough. So yeah, I mean that just carries on to the narrative. But for the first half of the season, put in Jake Ferguson every week. That guy's going to be a early season stud, and I just don't think I don't think I see them higher than a 7-10 finish out in Dallas. Moving along, last team in this division, the Washington Commanders. Give me an idea of what you think of the commies.
So Jaden Daniels' first year, he looks like the second coming of Joe Montana. Then he gets injured. Team was a mess last year.
Mess. Ooh.
And they're starting this year with a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, who are both in their first years in those positions. They made a couple of moves on defense, nothing that was like a headlining paper, move. I just don't think they did enough in the offseason to improve their team.
Yeah.
I see this being a very long season for Washington Commanders. Maybe 5-12, something like that.
Okay.
They're definitely bottom. They're bottom in the division. Yeah, you got to play Cowboys twice. You got to play Eagles and Giants, and I can easily see all of them being I can see them being 0-6 in the division. So
wow.
I think it's just gonna be a long year for the commies.
So that's I do see them at the bottom of the division as well. 7-10 is what I came up with the final record for them, because they do play the teams in the division, and they will beat the Giants, and they will beat probably Dallas one of those games. Chances that they could beat the Eagles too. Like, it's, again, everybody just seems to play it's their Super Bowl when they play against each other, and especially if they're the road team. Commanders are pesky when it comes to playing at MetLife or playing in Philly or Dallas. So I think they sneak a 7-10 record out of this campaign. I agree with you. Like the inexperience of coordinators that's going to be a learning curve. I love Jaden Daniels in that rookie season. He was awesome. He was a stud. He guided that team. The injuries were a huge thing last year, and I just think that like there wasn't any cohesion when a guy like that goes. Everybody else just stopped in their tracks. So a lot of their productivity just dried up. There are some flashes of talent, like Terry McLaurin. You could never count Terry McLaurin out. He's going to be he's an important guy on that offense. My fantasy guy is right now slotted in. I think he's slotted in as their backup running back, but he could be their lead back, and I think at some point he takes over as their lead back sooner than later, and that's Ja'Cory Koski Merritt, the man known as Bill, which he got from the Bill Cosby cartoon Little Bill. As a kid, he just wanted to be called Bill because he had the longest name in the world. But he's a good, just like flashy back. Like I think he's a guy that like is going to turn a lot of heads this year. And if they do show any sort of progress forward and they do get it together, I think it's going to be because this guy steps forward as their lead running back and starts to become a scoring machine. So Ja'Cory Koski Merritt, remember that name, and just remember to call him Bill when you see him. So,
but have a
drink.
It's gonna be really easy to spot him because he's gonna be the one with the really ridiculous Cosby sweater on, while the rest of them are wearing a uniform.
Right. I don't think he wants to be Bill Cosby. I just think he likes to be called Bill.
I ain't drinking out of the same water bottle.
No, I'm not. No. All right, so that's it for the East. Let's move on to the NFC North.
North.
Arguably the toughest division in football, but we'll see what happens this year. Another, steadfast, offensively driven group of teams here. So let us begin with the Detroit Lions. And tell me a little bit about the Lions.
Swerve me. I thought we were going to start with the Bears here, but no. The biggest question with the Lions, I think, is the window closing in on them. They had this, obviously they were at one point, bottom finishers in the division. They were like 0-16 or 0-17 at one point.
Yep.
They bring in Jared Goff. Dan Campbell comes in. We're gonna bite people's ankles and knees and blah blah blah. And a lot of their draft, they hit on a ton of their draft picks.
Sure.
I would say the year that I think they made it to the division round and they lost to the 49ers. I thought that team should have at least gone to the NFC Championship game, maybe possibly been Super Bowl contenders.
You bet, yeah.
Since then, last year was a lot of just injuries, disappointing performances. They couldn't really put it all together. I'm still skeptical of Dan Campbell as a head coach. I don't like the riverboat Dan, it's fourth. We're always going to, there are times where like he's inside his own 30 and he's going for it on fourth down.
Right.
And it's just like, I understand you want to have confidence in your offense. You want to have confidence in your players, but at some point, like you have to be the adult in the room. Like you have to be the one that says like, no, like unless unless you're down by 2 scores like in the fourth quarter, come on, it's the second quarter, you're on the road, like you don't go for it on 4th and 2 like on your own 38-yard, like you're just setting your team up at that point. Ton of talented guys, like weapons wise,
right?
And St. Brown, they just re-signed Gibbs, Jamar Gibbs.
Gibbs the bag.
Maybe you might get a full 16 or 17 games out of Jamison Williams this year. That would be nice. But they did let a couple of guys go on the offensive line, which has been a strength of theirs.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder, like, well, you're coming off where you couldn't really put, there were games where your defense played well and your offense, didn't. And now, or vice versa, your team scored like 42 points, but you lost 49-42.
Yeah.
One of their strengths has been that offensive line, their running game. That's why they've been able to be like, hey, 4th and 2, we're going for it. It'll be interesting to see. I have them finishing second in the division and being a wild card.
Okay. All right.
But I think this is one of those kind of things where if they get off to a bad start or something, or if they don't have good performances on each side of the ball, obviously losing Ben Johnson as an offensive coordinator, he went to Chicago.
Right.
I dare say they lost Aaron Glenn as their defensive coordinator, who went to the Jets. Yeah, you kind of give the guy a little bit of a break, but if Detroit don't perform this year, I think you're going to start hearing some chirping about Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
But I think they have enough talent in their especially on the offensive side of the ball, that they should be able to get 10 or 11 wins and at least get into the wild card.
Yeah. I also have them a second place finish, 9-8 record.
Wow.
They're, again, it's tough sledding. You look around that division and there were a lot of teams that figured out Detroit midway through the season and adjusted. They put up a ton of points, and that should still be something that you have to worry about week in and week out with them. Goff is still a great quarterback. Gibbs is it's going to be his show. There's no David Montgomery this year. He's gone to Houston. So it should be Gibbs as your bell cow, as your lead guy. And I think they can win games, and I think they're going to have a lot of close wins. Let's put it that way. Because I tend to agree with what you're saying, is that their dominance maybe 3 or 4 years ago that started to wear off at this point. And the rest of the league is saying, like, well, we're not surprised by this team anymore. The Lions, we know they're going to be good. We know, but now we can game plan for them because we've seen the script is still the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
My fantasy breakout guy, I can't say. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver in fantasy, and he's so exciting to watch, and he's great. So he gets my top billing. Gibbs is tremendous. Rushes for a lot of touchdowns, catches them out of the backfield too. Sam Laporta is such a good tight end. Got to stay on the field, brother. But St. Brown's elite, and St. Brown may be the best, not just the best receiver in fantasy, but he also might be one of the best players of this at least of the last 5 years in fantasy. So, and I don't see any signs of him slowing down. So, back your boy St. Brown this year. Moving on, let's look at the Minnesota Vikings. Where in your crystal ball is your prediction for the Vikings?
I have the Vikings finishing third in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Look, what O'Connell is kind of like that quarterback whisperer that can somehow I mean, look what he did with Sam Darnold when, like, Sam Darnold was the third string quarterback in the 49ers, and the dude, you know, made him look like a all-pro or Pro Bowl quarterback.
He grew up.
So I can kind of see him having the same impact on Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I think their defense is going to be good. I think it was good last year. They just got nothing. Just put it this way. Kyler Murray, even if he is staying up till 3:00 in the morning and he's playing Madden or whatever video games that he enjoys playing, will be better than a well-rested, well-prepared J.J. McCarthy. So J.J. McCarthy and that quarterback situation last year really cost the Vikings. They had, I think they had at least a wild card worthy defense.
Yeah.
And they just got nothing on offense last year. So, you know, you still have talent on the offensive side of the ball. I think Murray, between the fact that he's going to get better coaching, dare I say, I know he may get better coaching than he did in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
With Kevin O'Connell.
Welcome to the limb that you're out on.
And I think he's going to be a little bit like, you know, he's heard all the jokes. He's heard all the, you know, anytime somebody basically is paying you to go play for another team, you have to be a little bit like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm going to show you, like, I can play in this game.
Yeah.
So, if they get like a half better performance, you know, 50% better performance out of their offense, I can see them battling for a playoff spot. I don't think they get it, but I think they can be an improved team from what they were last year.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Third place finish. You like some of the elements, but it's a tough group to play around, right? Like you've got playoff teams, perennial playoff teams that are, and up and comers that are just, they're basically they have you surrounded in a tough division. So 8-9 record for the Vikings, but I think again the arrow could be pointing up in another season or two that could get them right back to the playoffs. Kyler Murray is my fantasy standout here. I think he's, first of all, Justin Jefferson is who he's throwing to. So Justin Jefferson should be the happiest person on the planet, that he doesn't have to, you know, he doesn't have to worry about JJ not being ready. And maybe JJ does get ready at some point. I think it's going to be away from Minnesota. But I do think the change of scenery will do wonders for Kyler. I think he's gonna come out to a hot start. I think this is the type of team that's gonna make some waves in the beginning of the season. And I just don't think they're closers. I think JJ's awesome, and I think Jefferson's going to be, you know, he's going to put up all pro numbers, obviously, year after year. But it's like, this is sort of the audition. We'll see how his chemistry works with Murray, and we'll see if that defense holds up, and if they're able to, you know, force turnovers and really be a menace on the other side. That all of a sudden, that 8-9 could be 10-7, and they're looking good for a playoff run. But right now, I'm going to leave them at 8-9, third place, and with a gold star. Let's say it that way. Chicago Bears are next.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Magical kind of season for them that unfortunately fell short of them in the playoffs. But, you know, a lot of hype around Ben Johnson, them hiring him. Like, is he going to get along with Caleb Williams, who has this reputation of being uncoachable or hard to coach? Didn't seem to.
No, he seemed fine.
He starts pulling these plays out of his ass, like, you know, the second part of the season. No lead seemed to be that insurmountable that he couldn't bring them back in the third and fourth quarter. They got younger and faster and better on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest question overall would be, do they have like a guaranteed kind of person that's going to get pressure on the quarterback?
Okay.
I think that's why they were interested, like when the whole Max Crosby thing kind of fell through.
Oh, yes.
You heard Chicago, because I think they still like, you kind of need that guy that that no matter what, like, all right, he's really good at getting at the quarterback.
He's going to be involved in every defensive play. Yes.
I think they're going to be, even though they're going to be improved on defense, there may be one of those, like, you're not going to have, it's going to be a bunch of guys that have like maybe 4 sacks. You don't know. You don't see that guy that's, he could be putting double-digit sack numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other question is they let DJ Moore go to Buffalo. Do they have, I always say his name wrong, Adunze? Is he ready to be Rome Odunze?
Mm-hmm.
Is he ready to step up to be the number 1 wide receiver? They drafted some kid that I've been hearing a lot about. Let me get his name in my notes. Xavion Thomas.
Okay.
Apparently had like 4.2 whatever speed, at the combine. Okay. They drafted him. Apparently he's going to be like maybe another, throw him some wide receiver screens, try to use his speed, that type of thing. So it's like somebody to watch out with, but like Moore was kind of like that consistent, like, oh God, we really need to get a first down.
Yeah.
He was kind of Mr. Automatic. So it would be interesting to see like how that plays into the offense. Does Caleb Williams still continue to progress and become a better quarterback? Does he is this year they take a step back? I think it's going to be a tougher division, and they're not a surprise anymore. Like, people are going to be geared up to play the Bears. They're going to have a few more primetime games than they did. So I still think they win the division. I still see them making some noise in the playoffs, but there's still, there's always question marks with every team.
Mm-hmm.
But those are some of the things I think you're looking at. Like, is their defense going to be that? How much better will the defense be? Does Caleb Williams, the loss of DJ Moore, does that make him step back?
Yeah. Or
do these other guys step up and they don't miss a beat? So
I agree with you. Bears. I have the Bears best record in the NFC, 13-4.
Wow.
They have, again, I think they're poised, and I think they got it very quick. They got it turned around very quickly. Because a season or 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, they were in the rubble. They were so down below the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers, that they're an afterthought. They're like, oh, great. All right. Well, that's 2 automatic wins for all those teams. I think the script is flipped. I think the Bears are tough as nails. I think their defense is still formidable. I think Caleb Williams is going to be like a top tier quarterback from the go. He's exciting to watch. The whole uncoachable thing is just because he's got so many intangibles that you don't want to get into his head too much, and you don't want to stand your ground and say like, well, here's our playbook, and you're not involved with making the plays. It's just going to be the coordinator. Like, I think he has a lot of input on that. So I do think like there's a smartness to him that people underestimate, and I do think that they're going to be a pretty formidable team this year. My guy for them for fantasy, he was a 7th round pick last year, running back Kyle Manange. Went to Rutgers. He was a Rutgers guy. Interesting tidbit, he has never fumbled at the college or pro level. And he was backup to DeAndre Swift for most of the season last year. I think he's going to contribute more. I think he is he's not a good pass catcher out of the backfield, but he is right around the goal line. Like he's a barrel back. Like, so I think he can, the fact that he's got those very sure hands that'll give the confidence to say, like, we're giving him the ball at like 3rd and 1 or 3rd and goal, and we're ready to roll with this guy, and we're gonna line up behind him. So I do think he's gonna be a touchdown vulture, and I do think he can get yards from scrimmage as well. So that's a guy. Again, it's another one. He's probably not going to be your lead back. He might be a guy that you can get on the waiver wire or you're drafting late and stashing on your bench. But as soon as you start to see, like, hey, that guy, he ended up with 9 fantasy points this week. That's really awesome even for a bench guy. Get him in your lineup. Test him in your flex early in the season, and I think he's going to pay off. So yeah, I predict good things for Kyle Monange. Last team, Green Bay Packers.
You want to start?
I'll start. I'll talk about the Packers first because they are the last team in the division, and they will be in last place in this division. I've got them at a 7-10 record. Listen, it's not that they don't have some talent here. It doesn't, on paper, it doesn't make sense to me. I think Jordan Love has the potential to have some major injury issues. They kind of have, there's a little bit of a no-name thing to this team, right? Like, at one point, like, you could have said, like, I can name like 4 wide receivers, 5 wide receivers from the Green Bay Packers. They're in this sort of like this mushy area where everybody's got a little bit of notoriety, but they're not stars. And I think that is, unfortunately, that's because Love he's good in flashes, but he's yet to put together, since being anointed as the next, the man who's going to be controlling the offense for Green Bay. I think that there's still question marks, and I still think there's, the whole 1 foot out the door kind of scenario with Jordan Love, and I think that the honeymoon may be coming to a close if they don't get, again, this could be the type of team that does get off to a fast start, wins games. They're a primetime specialty. They still have a pretty stacked defense because Michael Parsons didn't retire from football in the offseason, by the way. So, yeah, there's still there's going to be impressive games that are going to be very low scoring. But I just think, like, it's a tough hill to climb when you're looking at how good the Bears are going to be or predicted to be, in my opinion, and still having to deal with a Lions team that, although there may be a little bit of the beginning of it waning, they still have Green Bay's number in the last couple seasons. And then you're always battling the Vikings for, relevancy. And I don't have high hopes for our boys in Green Bay. 7-10 record. I will say that one guy everybody sleeps on, and this could be his breakout season. Wide receiver Matthew Golden, formerly of University of Texas, so he's one of my Longhorn boys. I think he has the breakout season that we've been waiting for, and I think he becomes the guy that they all start to talk about. I see Pro Bowl. I see potential to be their number one weapon on the offensive side of the ball. Not that I don't like some of marginally the rest of the talent that they have on their wide receiver core. Christian Watson, who's it? Tyler Kraft or Tucker Kraft is the tight end out there. Tucker Kraft. Real UFC name on him, Tucker Kraft. But I think Golden is going to be dare I say, the golden boy. I think he's going to take a big step forward this year, and I think he's going to be the one at the end of the season that they look back on and say, look at the amount of touchdowns that he's got in that offense that might have been a little bit mid. I think he has a good season, and I think he will be the type of guy that is a difference maker for Jordan. And it might give him a little bit of confidence down the road, but I don't think it's great for this season.
Something happened with this team last year. I think it might have been the Denver game where they had a lead at halftime and they blew it. And then they wind up losing. At one point, they were like 9-3-1. And they lost their last 5 games and got it like kind of backdoored into the playoffs. And then you saw a team that just could basically like 2 out of 3 weeks of their season. Basically, they just couldn't put the Chicago Bears away. You would think that as bad as everything went for them last year, if they had a proficient kicker, they might have beaten the Bears. Guy misses an extra point and a chippy field goal.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much your ball game. So they go out and draft a kicker in the 6th round. They cut McManus, and apparently this kid is having issues kicking in the offseason to where they're bringing in some journeyman, and now there's like a kicking competition. You draft a kicker or punter, they have to be like an automatic thing.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
I don't even care that you only wasted a 6th round pick. Parsons, I think they're going to really regret this trade, giving up 2 first round picks.
Yeah.
He's going to start the year on the PUP list. They don't really know when he's going to come back. And when he does come back, is he going to be Micah Parsons again? You were talking about wide receiver. They let their best wide receiver last year just go in Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, right. Right.
Watson's talented, but he's not. He's always hurt.
Right.
Jaden Reed is. He has his good games, has bad games. Golden, apparently, you have him as maybe a lot of questions around the dude. Dude's got a dropping passes issue. So that's never really good. I don't see any depth at wide receiver. Jacobs is another year older. He took a beating last year.
Right.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He was kind of in and out of the lineup. Kraft was like a Pro Bowl tight end, and he got hurt. He's coming off an ACL injury. So how long is that going to take him? Their defense to me is still sketchy, especially without Parsons. I just think it's going to be a long year for Green Bay.
Okay.
And I think you may be hearing some chirping around whether or not LaFleur comes back. I mean, he's now on like his 3rd or 4th defensive coordinator since he's been there. Special teams have always bit this team in the ass.
Yeah.
And they keep on hiring defensive or different special teams coordinators. It just never seems to work out for them. They either have a punting issue or a kicking issue, or I don't know. I just think this is, and I really do like Jordan Love. I think he's a really good quarterback. And I don't think not to get all Goodwill Hunting on this, I don't think any of this is going to be his fault. I don't understand why this organization repeatedly just does not. It's like wide receiver and offensive weapons are just afterthoughts. Oh, we'll find somebody in the 3rd or 4th. They never go out into free agency and get a proven talent. They never draft. I still don't think they've ever drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round. It's like you have this franchise quarterback in the making sitting here, and you're not doing a whole lot to put it like. That's why to me the Parsons trade just didn't make a lot of sense for me. It was like they had a good enough defense. They didn't need him. They need it, and they're going to regret. I mean, they're going to regret giving up. Their draft pick is probably going to be pretty good, since I don't see them. I see them as either a 7-10 or 8-19. So, I think this is the year. There were a couple of years there in the McCarthy era where like they even with Aaron Rodgers where like, just things didn't work out. This is one of those years for Green Bay.
Fumbarooski. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about the worst division in football, the NFC South.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. I guess we start with the Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah. I have the Bucks at 9-8. I don't know why. I that's just the way that it turned out. They're fighting with Baker Mayfield, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Mike Evans is gone. They do have some young talent out there. If everybody's healthy, I think they could have a nice start to the season, but I don't think that they are a particularly convincing closer. But 9-8, I mean 9-8 is going to be their fan base will probably be like, listen, we're happy with 9-8. We hope that maybe we win the division. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this is what gets us over the hump, and we can start mollywhopping everybody in this division soon. There's not a lot of flashy things to talk about. For fantasy, I think Bucky Irving is going to get hurt at some point this year. So my fantasy standout is maybe the best waiver wire guy in the NFL in the last 2 years. Kenneth Gainwell was a backup in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh and saw a ton of playing time and was productive and kept those backfields afloat. And I think that's what his role is in Tampa. He's waiting for the injury cart to come and take Bucky Irving away, probably week 2, week 3, and he steps in and he's the Band-Aid. But that's for lack of depth throughout the rest of the team. They have okay wide receivers. Ekma Kuba, if that's how you pronounce his name, double E. They have what's his name? Chris Godwin is still there. I think they have 133 like tight ends, and none of which are ball catchers or playmakers. I don't think, or haven't proven themselves as playmakers. This team lives and dies by Baker, and Baker knows a way to mine gold from mud. And if they're going to get to that 9-8, I think they've got to sit down with Baker, say, what do you need? How much input do you want on the offense? You know, let's keep a positive attitude about this year, even if we're not going to be like world beaters. Let's hope that we can sneak into the playoffs, and then, you know, you could tell us who to pick up at the trade deadline. You could tell us who to draft. Like, you know, just make him happy, and they could be a over 500 team. Time will tell. So I got them at 9-8, just on the outside of the playoffs.
It's funny, as much as I make fun of this division, I actually have 2 teams coming out of this division for the playoffs.
Wow.
I think Tampa Bay will have a winning record solely based on their defense. You could say what you want about Todd Bowles as maybe a head coach. The dude knows how to coach defense.
Right.
It's a shame that you were saying about fantasy. I think the guy that you got to look out for is Reuben Bain Jr. Their defensive edge.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, if you're looking for a defense, I would totally draft Tampa Bay's defense.
Oh.
This guy was drafted 15th overall, and that dude looked pissed that he had to wait. So I think he looked like one of those guys that is just going to be like, he's going to know every team that passed on him, and he's going to go in there with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And Bowles will know how to get the best out of him. So if they can just kind of like, I don't want to say piecemeal, but just keep it together enough on offense. You score if you can score 21 points or 20 to 23 or whatever points a game, they're going to win games. Okay. I just think their defense will be that good. I'm not saying they're going to be like, it's going to be the same like kind of repeat as last year where both them and Carolina are like 9-8 and some like by some mathematical weird thing, like one wins the division and the other goes to the wild card or blah, blah, blah. But I think if Baker's whatever's going on with his contract or whatever he's not happy about, if they can get him happy and he can be consistent and Goodwin somehow keeps off the IL and, some of the other guys stay healthy enough that like, God, he's not getting his ass kicked every week. Yeah, and he's got, at least either he's got someone to throw to or somebody to hand the ball to. I think they'll have enough or whatever to at least go like 9-8 and sneak into the playoffs.
Interesting. All right. Okay. You've got a positivity there. How do you feel about the New Orleans Saints?
A lot of people are high on the Saints. I am not. So Chris Olave has been like the only thing in that team for like 3 years now.
Right.
Of all the wide receivers that was available in the draft, they drafted the guy with the most history of injuries. And as we're recording this, it's already like he already did something to his hamstring and is going to miss the first 2 months of the season.
Wow.
I know they played better like in the second half, and a lot of people are high on this Tyler Shook character. I think you're looking at Alvin Kamara coming back for another year. I think he's
already hurt too.
Etienne Jr. is not running behind Jacksonville's offensive line. He's running behind this offensive line. They lost a couple of guys. Like they've lost. Their defense was halfway decent. They lost guys on defense.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of hype around the Saints. I'm not buying it, especially when you're reading like, oh, let's read up on the Saints and what's going on. And the biggest like one of the notes is, well, the battle for the backup quarterback position is between Rattler and my boy Wilson. Like,
Zachary,
come on,
all right,
it's all Zach Wilson, and like, dude, if you're battling Zach Wilson for a job, like,
quit.
You're not good.
Bread factory needs hands.
And God, you better hope if you're a Saints fan, you better hope this kid Shook or like doesn't get hurt, because Spencer Rattler or Zach Wilson is what's coming off the bench.
Yeah, put yourself to bed at that point.
If I was a defense, I would put 3 guys on what's his face? Why is his name just totally fucking Chris Olave? I would triple team him and just be like, yeah, that's it, man. Like, you're not beating me. I see them like 5 or 6 wins tops.
Yeah. I have them in the same boat.
The only thing that will make them look good is that they get to play Atlanta twice a year.
6-11 team is my prediction. Just there's nothing spectacular that comes to mind. Again, I think Kamara's already got some injury that is expected. He's expected to miss a couple weeks. That just spells disaster for, like, he's been the steady for close to 10 years there, like for such a long time that that just immediately just gets them. They're behind the 8 ball already. They're a bad fourth quarter team. Bottom line, like when they, like they can go up at the half and it could be like, wow, look at the Saints. Like the Saints are really showing you something. And then they run out of gas or they're asleep at the wheel defensively and they get burned. And all of a sudden, a 14-point lead is a 6-point deficit with time expiring, and it's like, well, what happened? Like, well, they blew their wad at the beginning of the game. They showed you that this isn't a 4-quarter team. So, and that's coming from a Jet fan who knows that the Jets aren't.
We don't. At least the Jets are consistent. They don't do well in the first, second, third, or fourth quarter.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I do like their tight end Juwan Johnson. He's sneaky good. I think he ended up as a top 5 tight end at the end of the season in overall productivity. Tyler, is it Sow? Slow? Shook?
Tyler Shook. Yeah.
It doesn't read. It doesn't read that way.
And it just like Favre doesn't spell Favre.
Yeah,
it's Favre. Like how does the R?
Tyler. We're just going to call him QB Tyler. He likes to throw to Juwan Johnson, and I think that's gonna be a good combination, especially since you're going to easily be able.
So I take that back. I'll double team Chris Olave and double team.
Yeah. But yeah, Olave is going to get blanketed most of the time. They're not going to really be able to get, much going on their running game without Kamara. So, and they're another team that just, other than your starters, where's your potential backups at any of these positions? So, that's my guy. Juwan Johnson would be a recommendation. Probably a decent, a decent low end tight end for you. Who's gonna surprise people during the season? 6-11 for the Saints, last place. Carolina Panthers are next. I will start with the Panthers. This is why this division is just broken for me. They were a playoff team, and they almost won a playoff game last year. No, did they win a playoff game last year? No, they lost to the Rams, right?
They lost to the Rams.
Yeah.
I think they played like they won the winning game or something.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever.
There's when I was looking to preview this team, there was a lot of like, who the hell is this guy? Now, listen, you still have Bryce Young as your quarterback. Strike one. They have some decent running backs. I will highlight before I even get to the name of it. Chuba Hubbard is still a consistent guy when he's healthy. He's got one of the best names in football. So all the backing in the world is for Chuba Hubbard. Chris Coker is also a great name. So they're leading the league in names. I don't know if their defense is good. Again, based off of last year's playoff, they held serve with the Rams for most of that game. Coughed it up at the end, but they're below 500 for me. They're an 8-9 team, just because they have to play teams outside of this division, and I think they get stomped by teams outside of this division. And I just don't know what it is that's holding them back from saying like, hey, like what were the big moves that they made in the offseason? It's the same faces.
Yeah.
And I don't know who they drafted. Like, you could do the research and figure out, oh, okay, they might have beefed up the offensive line. That would be great, so that Bryce Young isn't in a blue tent all year. But he's gonna get hurt. They're gonna have some like dumbass backup quarterback, like Gardner Minshew or Tyrod Taylor float around and be their savior for a couple weeks and win a couple games. But 8-9 is what I got them at, out of the playoffs. I hate the Panthers so much. Bring back Ron Rivera.
I think they did enough just to be a consistent another 9-8 season. They did bring in Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins.
Okay.
For pass rushing. Devin Lloyd, linebacker. So their defense, which was pretty good last year, could still be just as good or maybe a little bit better.
All right.
They still do have J.C. Horn, the corner, their all-pro cornerback. If you're wondering, Kenny Pickett is the backup quarterback for them.
Right. Oh, so week 5, Kenny Pickett's a starter and wins a game.
Here's the one thing I'll push back. Everyone doesn't like Bryce Young, but yet somehow after a really bad rookie season, he's kind of gotten better every year.
Okay.
And he's playing for a contract this year.
All right.
So there is that element of like, hey, get your shit together. Have a consistent, if you basically have another consistent year like you did last year, and you have this team 9-8 going to the playoffs, Carolina's going to be dumb enough to give him a big contract.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think that just like getting a guy on a contract year in any other sport, like that's probably going to be the best season you get out of him.
True.
With everything that nobody likes about this team, they played hard. They played very well the second half of the year and somehow snuck into the playoffs. And we're giving the Rams a pretty damn good game until, finally the Rams talented.
Yeah.
They just was like, no, we're not
playing anymore.
We're not playing we're not losing the Panthers in the first round.
Yeah.
So I think that is about as much as you can expect this year as this team. A 9-8, gotta even say 10-7 team that basically goes and loses in the first round to somebody.
Okay. Cannon fodder for a first round playoff game. All right. Well, yeah, you have a little bit better outlook on that than I do. Last team in the division. Go ahead. Tell me about the Atlanta Falcons, in your opinion.
As you hate Carolina, I hate Atlanta. I mean, I hate this whole division, and it annoys the shit out of me that, we feel the need that we have to put one of these, somehow these 4 teams end up in prime time every, somebody seriously thinks the country gives a fuck about Atlanta and New Orleans. One of those games will somehow be a Sunday night or Monday night football game or a Thursday night. And
this is the most Thursday night matchup division in the history of the NFL. This
division should be the NFC Thursday night game. I don't know what Atlanta. I just Kenny, not Kenny Pickett. You got Tua and Michael Penix.
Right.
Neither quarterback do I like. I think it's just going to be one of those no. This week he's going to start. No. He's going to start. He didn't get hurt in practice, so he's going to start. And it's just going to be a complete mess. And Bijan Robinson's he's going to basically pay somebody because he got that giant new contract. He's going to pay somebody to kick him in the ass every day. Why did I sign back with this organization? I could have just went to free agency or did something. We're all still waiting for Kyle Pitts to live up to being the hype of being the 4th overall pick in the draft 5 years ago. Although they've had such shitty quarterback play, I can't really put it all on him. The defense could be improved or can play better. It won't matter because they'll just God.
You're so mad right now.
It's just I hate talking about this team. They are a walking field goal. That's all they are.
It's a dome team. So that field goal kicker is probably pretty valuable.
Oh, and I got to hear about how great of an owner they have, and it's just how great is it?
Arthur Smith.
This organization still has not recovered from being up.
Yeah.
28-3 or whatever it was against the fucking Patriots.
I know.
That black cloud will hang over this organization and it will be a curse and whatever. I could care less, except other than the fact of that I got to watch this fucking team probably at least twice in prime time, and people will give a shit that anyone cares about the NFC South. I think people who live in the NFC South don't care about the NFC South.
You're gonna this. Not that you're gonna hate me, but I think you might spit your drink out. Falcons win the division.
Oh God,
9-8. I don't know why. I don't know why. I looked at their schedule and I was like, all right, that's a win. There's a win there.
If the Falcons are in the playoffs, oh my God, I will I will watch a WNBA game before we'll fucking watch the Falcons in a playoff game.
Well, you have the Panthers in the playoffs. I got the Falcons in the playoffs. We both hate this division.
I hate myself.
I know. Yes.
I hate myself for. I think we should have just talked about the other three divisions and just said, yeah, the NFC South.
Well, they're going to play. They're all going to play 17 games.
Ugh
is right. I love Bijan Robinson though. Texas guy. Another Texas guy.
He's great.
Great 5-tool player.
He's great, but you know what? Their idiot coach there'll be a situation where it'll be like 4th and goal from the 2,
and he'll be on the bench.
Yeah. He'll be on the bench, or like they'll design like a halfback or fucking pass or something instead of just giving him the ball and just
they'll have another ball that's thrown at the feet of Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is the shits. By the way, I like Drake London as a wide receiver. This quarterback situation is another one where. Flip a coin. Tua's got 4 good weeks in him, and maybe they're later in the season, and that's why they get to this 9-8 record. But they're gonna have a home playoff game. Home playoff game. Matt Ryan's gonna be smiling ear to ear when they get
Blank is gonna be on the sideline
when they get bitch slapped by the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs. But yeah, it's they're the best of a bad lot in my opinion. I think that like year after year, it's always like, can the Falcons take that step and become a playoff team? And will the Falcons be that playoff team and then stay there, so on and so forth? I just think that they make it out of this minefield, and they put themselves in the playoff again. Bounced early. Nobody cares. Whoever makes the playoffs out of this group is just they're cruising for a bruising in the first week in the wild card round. So don't expect them to stay long. But I love Bijan Robinson. I love to watch him play.
The only thing that could happen that would make me even angrier would be like a week 8 firing of Kevin Stefanski, and they bring back clown face Mike Smith.
And
coach.
Yeah. Sad clown Mike Smith. Just bring his Emmett Kelly looking face back to town. The fans miss him. That was a rough division. Let's finish strong with the NFC West. And let's start in San Francisco with the San Francisco 49ers. The team that's marred by what is it, like bad energy? Is it
this team is so unhealthy? You would think they were playing on the MetLife Stadium turf.
Well, they have that like they complained last year. It's like a G-force kind of issue. Like there's bad radiation.
I don't know what it is, but Ricky Pearsall or whatever, their wide receiver, the guy that got like shot last year.
Yes, the man who was shot.
He already did something to his knees, out for the year. I mean, their fucking coach is hurt and missed like the first couple of weeks of your coach. How unhealthy are you when your coach can't even stay healthy? Because he like fell asleep in his Tesla or something and put the self-driving mode on and fucking crashed. Or whatever story they're coming up with that doesn't make it sound like either he was on his phone or that he was drinking behind the wheel or whatever story it is. But yeah, if Uh, I mean, everybody was dropping like flies. They were still somehow battling and putting up games, and were possibly like trying to keep hope alive for a playoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they already lost a wide receiver. Kittle is recovering from
pup.
knee surgery.
Yeah.
He's on the pup. It's just, if everybody stayed healthy, you would sit there and go, yeah, this team could probably, you could see them maybe finishing second in the division, getting in a wild card. But it's just like, it seems to be something in San Francisco. They can't stay healthy. They can't stay on the field. And I don't, they brought in Mike Evans. He's older. You know,
Very
he's going
old.
to miss.
Yeah.
He's going to miss at least 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of, I mean, God forbid that I say this, but like, maybe losing Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator hurts this team, because it's only their defense plays really well when Saleh is like their defensive coordinator. But then when he leaves, somehow their defense falls apart.
Go figure.
Go figure. But yeah, I just, this is a really tough division besides the Cardinals, and they can't seem to ever stay healthy, and they're already losing people. And their head coach almost lost an eye in an automobile accident like 2 weeks before freaking training camp opened up. So I finished. They're a third place finish for me.
Okay, all right. I also have them as a third place finish, 9-8 record. So a little bit of a ray of hope. The issue, apparently, it was unfounded. It had to do with there was a theory about electromagnetic field, EMF, and some of the substations that are adjacent to Levi Stadium and their practice fields, where they were getting all of these injuries on the practice fields. So they did tests, they did studies, totally unfounded, worrying about low frequency EMF waves that might have been contributing to the injuries that they suffered. But they'll just suffer more injuries. I like George Kittle as a player. I like him as a man and a human being because he seems to have a good heart. He will not play a full season. So that's strike one. I like Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey's a talented boy. He will not play a full season. Good luck. Mike Evans is your number one receiver. And Mike Evans has had a great career. Mike Evans is in the twilight of his career. And I don't think he's a difference maker. Now, again, like a 9-8 record, I think defensively they can stop games, and I think there's talent. I think Brock Purdy is a miracle worker. So I could see him winning games just by himself. And when they're healthy and they have all their guys on the field, they look very impressive on paper when they are healthy and they have everybody on the field, because you're looking at them and you're imagining everybody in the prime of their life. The problem is all these guys are a little bit aged. So maybe a little bit of lightning in the bottle to get them to 9-8, but they're not a playoff team this year. The fantasy standout, you could say all you want about McCaffrey being a legend in fantasy football and George Kittle being great in fantasy football. Mike Evans, legend in fantasy football. My guy that I would draft off of this team is their kicker, Eddie Pinheiro. Eddie Pinheiro, I should say. I mispronounced that.
Former Jet great.
96.6 accuracy rate as a kicker last season. So he's pretty lights out when it comes to nailing field goals and extra points. He also has the most jockey name of anybody in the NFL. Eddie Pinheiro on the 4-horse to win 9-8.
Should also mention Christian Kirk, wide receiver,
yes,
who signed a big contract in Jacksonville, never really lived up to it.
Yeah.
Was released. Was picked up by the
Texan last year.
Was picked up by the 49ers. And we all know that doesn't bode well for people with the last name Kirk on the West Coast.
Right. Yes. Good. Wow. I mean, can he get Ricky Pearsall's bulletproof vest?
Only if it covers the neck.
The jury is still out. Anyway, 49ers 9-8 in my book.
All right.
LA Rams.
God, you want to be that person that like sits there and says like, "Oh, the Rams aren't going to be that good. They're totally overhyped. They gave away." Dude, they're stacked. They're just stacked. They brought in an all-pro cornerback. They brought in the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
They still
in a steal, by the way. That Myles Garrett deal is a steal.
There's all these rumors circulating that like Aaron
Donald wants to come back.
Aaron Donald may come back out of retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 35, but who knows? But like, everybody picked on them for drafting Ty Simpson with a first round.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes out. I mean, I know it's preseason, but he looks really good in preseason. Yeah. So maybe there isn't that big of a worry that if like Stafford has to miss a game or two, like maybe this cat, as long as it's like maybe later in the year.
Yeah, he's a good.
Everybody that's on that Sean, the hell is it? That
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. I'm in preseason mode. I'm forgetting people's names.
Come on.
Like everybody under his like circle seems to be struggling, but yet McVay still somehow figures out and like the worst they do is 8-8. Dude, this team's winning the division. This is a number one seed. Like there's you like to be the person that is like, well, I told you so. I told you the Rams weren't going to live up to that. Dude, they're living up to the hype.
Yeah.
It's going to be, it'll be interesting. The only thing that stops them is the same thing that stops any, like, unless there's like so many injuries that their depth isn't obviously because they had, they don't value draft picks in Los Angeles and they trade them for proven talent. And if all that proven talent gets hurt, then yeah, I can see that being like, okay, well, they're not as good as everybody thought they're going to be. But if they just stay healthy enough, like I can't see how this is like a 14-3 team to me.
I'll agree with you on that one. 12-5 I have them at, but it's and even then, like, if you're taking losses either in division to reputable opponents or, the best of the best is beating you from the AFC during the season. It's their division to dominate. Everything is lining up for them. This is all the chips are in at this point, and we're raring to go. Matt Stafford is going to be a Hall of Famer. It's predicted. Maybe he plays another like 4 seasons, but like, yeah, I think Ty Simpson can prove all of the doubters wrong if he does have to play any games this year. As far as fantasy, everybody on this team is exceptional in fantasy.
Just draft the Rams.
One guy I would stay away from, running back Kyron Williams, because they love using backup running backs. Because there's 2 or 3 guys behind him, Blake Corum, whoever the other third running back, like they just gadget play a lot of talent in their backfield. They got a ton of talent at tight end that they could just slot in too. Like they have a well balanced offense, and that's going to be the thing that wins games. And yeah, like if you have the defensive player of the year and a former defensive player of the year who retired briefly and wants to come back and win a Super Bowl with this team, that's a lot of motivation for the rest of the guys that are going to play on that unit. So yeah, I think the Rams are not my number 1 overall, but they're going to play like a number 1 overall all through the season and all through the playoffs. 12-5 for the Rams. in my opinion. And
The only thing that stops this team is if like Puka Nacua just decides to like grab the wheel of like the bus or the airplane or something and just head it towards a mountain.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't do that.
He's been kind of weird this.
It's a bit of a wild card. I know. Yeah, I drafted him in fantasy, by the way. He was my number one overall. So I need Puka with his head screwed on the right way this season. Arizona Cardinals.
I got good news for the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of quarterback potential coming out in this draft for next year, and you're probably going to be 1, 2, or 3 picking.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is somebody in that office was dumb enough to hire Michael LaFleur as your head coach.
Yes, that's true. Right.
Yeah.
Who is their starting quarterback, by the way?
Jacoby Brissett, or it's going to be the kid Carson Beck. That's number 1 and 2.
Okay, right. From Georgia, right?
Or here's their depth at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Brissett, Carson Beck,
right?
And I forgot Gardner Minshew is on
there. He is.
Team.
This is before he gets released. Well, no, this will be the team that he starts for. Maybe gets released and goes back to Carolina, but
they drafted Jeremiah Love with the 3rd overall pick, and they're going to totally regret. The dude is already hurt. They decided to rush him 15 times.
Oh, no.
They decided to rush him, give him the ball 15 times, quote unquote, because we wanted to see what the kid can do. If you have any doubts about a running back, you don't draft him 3rd overall.
Yeah.
A running back you draft 3rd overall doesn't even have to get any hand. It gets like 4 or 5 handoffs in preseason. They gave it to him 15 times first game, and he's already hurt. So,
it's a high ankle sprain. So,
yeah.
If he sits through the rest of the
which are always like a lingering thing.
That's a good point.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be demanding to get traded before the trade deadline. He's going to want no part. He's not catching passes from Carson Beck. Yeah, this good news, Arizona. You may start the season on the clock with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
you're in a horrible division to be this bad. Like you're losing 2 games to Seattle. You're losing 2 games to the Rams. Maybe you get a mercy win because the 49ers basically
going to be hurt.
Don't have enough players to just put on the field. Other than that, it's going to be another long season for the Cardinals of Arizona.
Wow. Okay. Well, you don't have a lot of high hopes. I can see that. I have them at 6-11, last place in this division. How I came up with 6 wins, you'll never know.
They play the Jets.
They play the Jets in Arizona.
So
there's a potential home win. Yeah, there's not a lot to quote unquote love about this team. I do think if Jeremiah Love can stay healthy, like he will be an offensive rookie of the year. Notre Dame guy, 3rd overall pick, went to a Christian Brothers school in Missouri in high school. So shout out to the Christian Brothers. Yeah, there isn't really anything other than him and Marvin Harrison Jr. is Trey McBride's good. And on any other team, in any other circumstance where this isn't just a comedy of errors, those 2 guys would have really bumped themselves up a lot in the first couple of years that they've been in the league. I think McBride's got a lot of talent. I think Marvin Harrison Jr.'s got a lot of talent. I'd rather have the punter throw to me than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is a man who will never go away. And then Carson Beck, he beat lesser opponents to death last year in college. What are you going to do as a pro? Probably just be on your ass all day. So, Yeah. Cardinals may be the worst team in the division.
When it came down to a big time moment for Miami last year in college, he overthrew the receiver by 8 yards for an interception.
I'm sorry, I falsely stated he went to Georgia. He was the Miami quarterback. Right.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're all the same school to me.
So yeah, not a lot of talent there, and the worst team in the conference. Let's round it out with the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks.
It's odd to say. It's still odd to say that Seattle Seahawks are the defending Super Bowl champions. I don't think the wheels completely come off the bus, but I think the Seahawks take a step back. They're still going to have a winning record.
Yeah,
they're still going to make the playoffs. You lost your offensive coordinator. You lost your best running back.
Yeah.
They lost one of their better cornerbacks. Darnold's going to have to learn from another offensive coordinator. Yeah. What is this, like his 8th offensive coordinator in his career?
It's not looking good.
I like the guy that their head coach. Like, he seems like, he very kind of laid back, tries to keep everything like cool and collective.
Anybody's better than Pete Carroll.
I think, what is his name? Mike McDonald or something like that, their head coach, or Sean McDonald, whatever his name is. You're defending champs. You're going to have a target on your back. You lost a lot of talent. I don't know. I maybe 10-6, second in the division.
Okay.
It's gonna be tough. I think it's they're gonna play a harder. They're gonna have, you're gonna have the Rams twice in your division. They're gonna probably play. They're gonna play whatever the best. They should have like one of the toughest schedules to play.
Yeah.
Thank God they get to play Arizona twice, and again maybe they get a forfeit from the 49ers because they can't field the team.
EMF is too high, right?
The bus hit an ambulance.
Yeah,
and it was carrying somebody or whatever. But no, like I don't think the wheels completely come off Seattle. I don't. But like, a lot of things went right for them last year. Sam Darnold played the best football of his career.
True.
He's still kind of prone to an interception or a turnover. I could see games where they don't get all the bounces again. But like I said, I think maybe 10-6, finish second in the division, and get in as a wild card.
I am in the same boat, but I do have them as a 9-8 team, just squeaking into the play. I got a lot of 9-8 teams. Let me just put that out there. That was a magic number this year. So 9-8, they get into the playoffs. Their defense wins the day. That's what won them the Super Bowl last year. That's what basically steamrolled them through the playoffs. So I think, you're not changing the record when it comes to that. How they gave up all that talent on the offensive side of the ball and lost a lot of important pieces that were scoring touchdowns for them. That's a little bit mind-boggling that they weren't more protective. I get that you would have to pay these guys out the nose, and it's better to either deal them or lose in the free agency. Hey, it happens. But good enough to be in the playoffs. Probably not good enough to get past the first round, but here we are. I think Sam's a capable quarterback, and I think he's matured to a point where he's never going to be a world beater when it comes to stats, and he's still going to turn the ball over a bunch, but their defensive side of things is going to turn the ball over, and they're going to get him more opportunities. So and I like Jackson Smith Najigba is a fun dude.
Yeah.
And he's got a fun name to say. Their fantasy outlook is, I don't care if you have to skip up a couple rounds and you start a trend, draft the Seahawks defense in the 8th round. Just do it. Just get it out of the way. They're going to get you they're probably going to get you 12 points a game. They're going to shut teams out. So go ahead. Draft drafted defense early, and it should be the Seahawks defense. They're impressive. So, with that being said, let's just briefly look at each of our playoff schedules and tell me who advances to each round for your side of the playoffs.
Okay. So I have the Rams as the 1 seed, Eagles as the 2 seed, Bears as the 3 seed, Panthers as the 4th seed. Mm-hmm. Cowboys 5th, Lions 6th, and the Bucks get in as the 7th seed.
Okay.
So I got Eagles Bucks with the Eagles winning.
Okay.
Bears Lions with the Lions winning.
Interesting.
Panthers Cowboys winning. Rams play the Lions, and Eagles play the Cowboys. So then I have Rams Eagles as your NFC Championship game with the Rams winning.
Mm-hmm. The Rams. So Rams are going to the Super Bowl on your side of things.
Rams are going to the Super Bowl at NFC.
Okay. My playoff picture, I've got the Bears as the 1 seed, the Rams as the 2 seed, the Giants as the 3 seed, and the Falcons, unimpressively, as the 4 seed. The Eagles are 5, the Lions are 6, and the Seahawks are 7. This gives me a matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks in the wild card round, with the Rams winning. Giants and Lions, with the Lions winning. Falcons and Eagles, Eagles win. Matchup, Rams and Lions in the division round, with the Rams going through, and Eagles and Bears with the Bears going through. NFC Championship game, LA Rams, Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears lose. LA Rams are going to the Super Bowl. And then next week, we will go through the AFC. Anything else to say about the NFC before we close up shop this week?
I still think you're going to have a lot of team. I think the Giants will be involved. I think I could kind of see like 3 teams for battling for that 7 seed. Mm-hmm. I think the Vikings could be involved in that. The Giants could be involved in that. Maybe the 49ers, if they could stay healthy enough.
Okay.
But for some weird, odd reason, and some sort of mathematician is going to have to get involved. Somehow Tampa Bay finishes with a wild card.
I know, yeah.
And that crappy division gets 2 teams. 2 teams in the playoffs.
Well, listen, it's
and what they should do is just make both of them play each other at 4:30 on Saturday.
Right, and it should be on. It should be on like Tubi TV.
Yeah. You want to make Roku pay out the ass for that one, and nobody watches it. Less people watch that game than watches the Field of Dreams baseball game.
That's true. Yeah, smarten up. All right. Well, that's the NFC. Next week we will be back with the same analysis, but for the AFC. So look forward to a lot of grumbling about teams we're more familiar with. And I think that puts a cap on us, Captain. So let's get out of here. Let's go back to the locker room and we'll call this one halftime of our episodes or of our NFL preview. So we'll meet right back here next week for the next half. So on behalf of the captain, Michael Corby, this is the Madden, Mike Madden. We hope you have. We're happy that you survived the whole episode, and we hope you have a great night. Stay classy, San Diego.
Did you just call yourself the Madden?
Yeah, I did.
Bye, Mike.